there, this video takes you through the enumerate function in Python. It's a built-in function from Python. When you install your Python version, it just comes out of the box and you don't really need to import it, which is really good. But what are the use cases of the enumerate function? Well, I guess the main use case, if you ask me, for the enumerate function is to provide an index to your iterable. What that means, just think about a list of students' names. You've got Alice, you've got Bob, Paul, James, and such and such. Yes, you have only 4 students. It's really easy to count them 0, 1, 2, 3. But what if you had 500 students? And based on some data requirements, you didn't need the actual name of the student, but you needed the index number of where they sit in the list. I'll quickly show you what I'm really talking about. But the enumerate function allows you to index the values in an iterable, but also to count. If you need to count something, you can use the enumerate function. These are only 2 of the use cases that I can think for the enumerate function. I'm more than happy to hear from your thoughts that what have you seen as a use case for the enumerate function down below in the comment section. But before we jump in, I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, hit the like button and share it with your friends. It really helps me grow my audience. Okay, I've got a Jupyter Notebook on my screen. I will use Command B on my keyboard to hide the sidebar because I am on a Mac. If you are on Windows, use Control and B. On a Mac, use Command and B. On a Windows, use Control and B, and that will hide or unhide the side panel. As I said, today we're talking about enumerate function in Python. I'll make this a markdown. And as I said, we use the enumerate function at a counter to an iterable. You might ask, hey, what is an iterable? I've left the link to my iterable video up the top right, but iterables are anything like lists, like sets, dictionaries, tuples, strings, and the range function if you like. So if you want to add a counter to them, you can use the enumerate function. As I said, there is so much that you can use the enumerate function, and I really encourage you to code with me, put your questions in the comments area, and I'm more than happy to help you. Let me start with a very basic example, and I will run you through more, but I think that this basic example number 1 should make it very easy for you to understand how to use enumerate with a list. I've got a list of fruit down here. I've got banana, cherry, and apple in a list. If I were to write a for loop for this list, I would say for fruit in fruits, print fruit, right? That's your very basic for loop. But what if I were to get the index, not the actual apple, banana, cherry? You know that in Python, we start counting from 0, 1, and 2. What if I were to achieve this here? Well, I would have to go ahead and say, make this the length of the fruit and then print it. And it says, hey, int object is not iterable. Sorry. What if I have to do a range of the length of the fruits list? Well, yes, it does work now, but now you can see that I've lost seeing apple and banana and cherry, and I can only see 0, 1, and 2. How can I do this without making it really complicated and not really advanced? It is just simply using the enumerate function. So get rid of these 2 functions, get rid of that last extra bracket, and just add enumerate from Python. If I run this, you will see that I have easily achieved 0 and apple, 1 and banana, 2 and cherry. So that makes my life way, way easier. What I could do, instead of putting both of them into the fruit, I could say, hey, give me the key and the fruit, because I want this 0 to go into the key and apple to go into the fruit. I want number 1 to go into the key and banana to go into the fruit, and such and such. If I print this, just be careful because I'm only printing fruits. And if I do this, I will see apple, banana, and cherry. because I'm not printing the key. If you want to see the key, what you can do is do this. So key is 0, fruit is apple. Key is 1, fruit is banana. If you only need to print the key, then go ahead, get rid of the fruit and print the key by simply using the enumerate function. So I'll go back and put this in this format. So hopefully so far it makes sense how enumerate function really helps. But bear with me, I'm going to make this into a pipeline of data wrangling stuff. What I'm going to do, I'm going to simply copy this and paste it here. And what you can see is that when I run the same thing, it starts counting from 0. The enumerate function has got a very powerful argument called start that allows you to adjust what number do you want to start counting from. Are you going to start counting from 0? Are you going to start counting from 100? I'm going to start counting from 1. If I start from 1, you can see that now I can see 1, 2, and 3. If I start counting from 100, now I've got 100, 101, and 102. The fruit is not going to change. I'm only playing with a key here. Just a very quick example. If I say I've got animals in my farm, and the animals are donkey, and I've got horses, and I've got cows, and I've got ostriches, and I want to enumerate over them, I can say for item, and maybe the index of item, I want to keep them separate. In enumerate of animals, right? What I want you to do is to print this is animal index space, and I'm going to use index here. And I'm also going to print this is the animal name, and I'm going to use the item name. I'm not sure if item is the right name for an animal. I'm just going to run that. I don't really care. This is animal index 0. This is donkey. This is animal index 1. This is horse. This is animal index 2. This is cows. I know that this is not grammatically correct, but I just want to show what I'm doing here. But if I went ahead and I started from number 2, you can see this is animal index 2. This is a donkey. This is animal index 3. This is a horse, and such and such. Now let's move to example number 2. So I want to show you in example number 2 how to use enumerate to store objects in a list. I'm going to go ahead and use the same fruits example. So we know that we had some fruits. Let me just make this again so that you can see that. So that's the fruits. And if I print the fruits for you, we'll see that I've got apple, banana, and cherry. What I can do here, I can print the enumerate of the fruits. I want you to see what it looks like. It's an enumerate object. So enumerate, like the map function, the filter function, and the zip function, creates an iterator. This is for you to save memory, because if it creates a new object, as in a list or as in a set, it captures some storage in the memory. But when it stores an enumerate object, it doesn't double down. So for now, we can see it as an enumerate object. If you want to see it, you can store it as a list or as a set or as a tuple. So if I run that, now you can see I have converted apple, banana, and cherry to 0 is apple, 1 is banana, 2 is cherry. I'm reading it like that. You can read it however you want, simply by converting the enumerate of the fruits into a list. In a way, it is zipping the indices with the objects into tuples of 0 apple, 1 banana, and 2 cherry. Now, let's jump to example number 3. So I'm going to call this example number 3 a real life example of reading a txt file. So I have created a txt file here. So if I go Command B and open that txt file, you can see that the txt file says, this is the first line, hello world, another line of text, feel free to add your own content, end of file. So you can see that there is not any line number 0 here, line number 1 here. It doesn't exist. So I'll go back to original and I will close this. Do you want to save? No, I don't want to save. So in real life, what I would be doing, I would be reading the text file and doing some stuff, right? Let me do it for you. The way you would be reading the text file in Python, one of the ways would be using the context manager. So you would say with open and your file name, txt, if I spelled it correctly, and then I will use the read capability and I will call this as file. What I want you to do is for line in file is print line. What it does, it reads the file line by line, right? And prints it on the screen. But you can see that I don't have the index for each line. If I were to do that, I would simply say add the index to here and simply enumerate over the file. If I do this and print the index and the line, you will see that line number 0, this is the first line. Line number 1 is hello world, 2 is another line of text, and such and such. Yes, in a very small text file, it doesn't really matter because you've only got 5 lines. But if you've got a huge database, which usually is the case in real life, you really need that enumerate function. What I could do then, I could change the start. I would say, hey, start counting from 1, which then takes me to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope this video helps you. I gave you some real life examples and some basic examples. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments area. And feel free to share my videos with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and like the videos. Thank you.